I'm not sure if I should feel embarrassed or not. I messed up again. Action! I cannot get this camera positioned how I like it, so we're going with this way. Hey y'all, welcome to Ali Loves Movies! Cause I do! You're in for a cringy ride. Today's topic is my top 10 childhood movies. So just to clarify, that's not top 10 kid movies I'm recommending, even though I would. I guess you could think of it that way. But these are 10 movies I grew up with as a kid and was obsessed with. Watched them on a loop, had to have the merch. Obsessed. Now, I was debating what order to put these movies in, if I should do like least obsessed to most obsessed, but as I was thinking about it, most of them were pretty equal. In the end, I decided to put the movies in order from ages. Like my movie watching timeline. So come grow up with me. Also, without meaning to, I like picked one movie from each category, basically, kind of. I wasn't trying to do that, it just worked out that way. Like I have one animated Disney, one Studio Ghibli movie, one live action musical, one Barbie, one Decon, you'll see. But it's funny how things work out, huh? Coming up first, I'm gonna guess I was obsessed with this ages like 4 to 6, and that is Thumbelina! Little Allie thought the songs in this movie were so pretty, and they are. They're sung by Jodie Benson, who also voices the Little Mermaid, which didn't make this list, but it was this close. It's about a girl as tall as your thumb, and she's sad that she's the only one her size. Until she meets a fairy prince. Since he's a fairy, he's also the same size. They fall in love. There's the thing of he has wings and she wants wings too. And because she's so beautiful, she gets kidnapped before anything more can happen. And that's how we get in a snowball story of a movie. Because as soon as she escapes one, someone else is interested in her because she is fabulous. And she is.
You're beautiful, baby!
The whole movie she's trying to get back to Cornelius, the fairy prince, and she misses her mom. Her mama is a human lady. Anyway, it has a happy ending. It's cute. The songs are bombing. My whole life I always wanted to be an actress, so the one song the frog mama sings, "Come on little road," about her wanting to make Thumbelina a star.
You become big star like me. You are important person. You are famous. You are a star.
A star?
I liked that. I was like, I want to be a star too. This song's my jam. And any song Thumbelina sing song was beautiful. Unfortunately, as a kid, I didn't have this movie. I bought this movie a few years ago from Walmart's $5 bin, which is a shame. Every time I went to cousin's house, I watched Thumbelina. They probably got tired of it, but I was taking advantage of being able to watch it because I didn't have it. So the few times I was there, I made sure to watch it while I could, but they were probably like, man, that's all she watched.
Don't ever wish to be anything but what you are.
Then follow your heart. It will lead you home.
Number 2. I am told I saw this at the movies, and if that's the case, I first saw it at age 4 or 5, but I distinctly remember being obsessed with it at age 6 and 7. So that's why it's number 2. To this day, it is my favorite Disney movie of all time. Let's give it some more love. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Lilo and Stitch. I was always family oriented, so this spoke to me. Ohana.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
Do I really have to say what it's about? She befriends Alien, who's also like weird and unaccepted for understandable reasons.
Are there any animals in here?
How?
Wow.
And yeah, they make their makeshift family. It's adorable. Little Lilo, her parents died. She's being raised by her big sister. She has no friends. No one likes her, so I really resonated with it. One reason I love the movie was I related to Lilo. She was quirky. She loved taking pictures. She was weird.
Go away.
Lilo, we don't have time for this.
Leave me alone to die.
She had no friends. No one liked her. And that was me when I was little and my whole life, but at the time I was obsessed with it, yes. I was born and raised in Florida, so I also related to the tropical setting. It takes place in Hawaii and Florida. Yeah, palm trees, beaches, you know, one of the same. 10 out of 10, love it. Favorite Disney movie. All time. It's almost like it's loosening. Oh, it's not. It's just, okay. Number 3, I read the books. I watched the cartoon TV series. Can you guess what it is? Should be talked about more. I still watch this movie a lot. I love this movie. It stars Frances McDormand as Miss Clavel. Come on. So Madeline is about a little French girl in Paris. She goes to like a Catholic Christian boarding school with 11 other girls. She's the smallest one, and she's the only one without a family. Because that's how all these kid movies are. She's the bravest.
I'm not afraid of mice.
The smartest.
All I said was that we were having some very important guests this morning. So could you pretty please be very quiet at that time?
She's the main character. Very likable. And the movie basically goes through all the main stories of the book series. They kind of like mashed it all together into one, and they did it really well. It has probably the most famous of the series.
I think we'll have to take out her appendix.
So conflict of the movie is the school is closing.
I'm closing the school down.
But the girls.
We'll find another school to attend.
So that's sad as it is, because all 12 girls will now be separated. They'll have to find new schools. Then there's Madeline, who's an orphan, who's a ward of the school. So if that happens, she has nowhere to go.
I need a home too.
Madeline, you will always have a home.
Yes, but it won't always be with you, will it?
At the same time, we have the Spanish ambassador moved in next door, and they have a menace of a son. He's kind of making their lives miserable. So that's fun. He has a tutor who is not really a tutor. He has an evil plan to get some money. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it's not as cheesy as the cover looks. If you're in the mood for something sweet, uplifting...
Are you alright? I can do anything.
I would definitely recommend Madeline. It is very good. Coming in at number 4, we have a movie based on a TV series, and it's Japanese anime. Sailor Moon: Promise of the Rose. Now, my girl Sailor Moon has 3 movies, but this is the one I mean, the second movie I watched a lot as a kid too, but I think I watched this one more. Normal schoolgirl by day, fights crime at night. You know, that kind of person. An old friend from her boyfriend's childhood comes back to fulfill a promise from when they were kids. Promise of the Rose, and it creates a whole thing. Yeah. So that's my summary in a nutshell. It's kind of complicated, especially if you don't have background knowledge of the show or anything. So showing my age here, back when we used to go to Blockbuster, which at the time was right across from my neighborhood. Blockbuster. Oh. Heyo. If I did not have a set movie in mind I wanted to check out, this movie was my go-to. So I checked this movie out from Blockbuster all the time. I loved it. Even as a kid, I was a bit of a romantic, so Promise of the Rose had a nice love story at the end. I rewatched it recently, and it was shorter than I remember. Also, there's like 2 different dubbed versions that I know of. I saw like the original dub, I guess it was, and it was not as good, and I realized how much that makes a difference. One at the end of the movie that has the song Power of Love, that's the good one. That other one, oh. I got my friend obsessed with it, so we watched it together all the time, so that's memories. We lived too far, I couldn't see her very much, but when we did see each other, we watched Sailor Moon and one other thing that's coming up. Oh, next actually. Great segue.
Great segue, Ellie.
Segueing. The Barbie movie I was obsessed with back in the day. If you grew up in my generation and liked Barbie, you probably did too. The true MVP. Princess and the Pauper. Yeah, baby. Once again, I don't think I really need to summarize because it's based on the classic book, Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. 2 identical strangers, one's a princess, one's a pauper. Power, like, bleak or something. Anyway, the princess goes missing, person power hungry, Pauper comes in to take her place, more bops. I still know all the words. Of course, my 8th birthday party was Princess and the Pauper themed, as was my best friend at the time. If this was one of your favorite movies growing up, then you might have done the same thing. You were either the Princess or the Pauper and your friend was the other. So my friend and I did. I was Annalise because I had blonde hair, the closest to blonde hair. What color my hair is has been the debate of my life. Also, it changes shades. It's very inconsistent. I've never dyed it. It just naturally changes colors. Anyway, quality-wise, it is like the best Barbie movie. All the original Barbie movies from years ago, those were the best ones. I don't know what happened. Of course, I don't know what happened with a lot of movies and TV shows these days. Of course, I had all the Barbie dolls for each of the characters. I had the soundtrack CD in my mom's car, and I was jamming. Such a good movie. Next. This next one was age like 8 or 9. I was obsessed with Full House when I was a kid. Then I became obsessed with Mary-Kate and Ashley. I loved most of their movies, mainly the ones when they were kids. I didn't really get into a lot of the ones when they were older, except for a couple. So this was my favorite Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, and is the best one. I think it had the biggest budget. It was the best quality one too, so you could probably guess which one it is if you know their movies. It Takes Two, baby. Actually, there is a theme. The previous movie, this movie, and the next movie. It is about identical strangers. Once again, it's a lot like Princess and the Pauper. One is rich, one is a pauper. One has one parent, one has no parents. No wonder I liked this one too. Dad gets engaged to a lady who is unlikable. The orphan girl has experience getting rid of adults she doesn't like, so they switch places so she can get rid of that fiance. Doesn't exactly work. It then turns into a plot of setting up a lady from the orphanage and rich girl's dad, and that is one way to get rid of fiance. It's a lot like The Parent Trap, only they're not related and they're not both rich. So as a kid, both my parents worked full-time jobs, so I went to work with my mother every Saturday, and I just sat in a break room all day, every Saturday. That's another reason I watched a lot of movies in my time, because that's all there was to do. Some other kid before me left this movie in the back break room from where my mom worked. It's actually this one. That was how I first saw it. I left it there up until we moved years later, since no one ever came back. I just took it because it was just sitting there for years. Super cute. As I said with Madeline, you want a charming watch, this is the way to go. Next, I'm just gonna show it, because I already mentioned it. Yeah. I think we all know this movie. Long lost sisters meet, they switch places to try to get their parents back together. Boom, that's the story. The thing with this one, it is about long lost sisters finding each other.
You'll die like sisters.
I grew up an only child, so I dreamed of that happening to me my whole life. I was so lonely. I wanted to find a long lost twin. I saw this movie and I kept asking my mom, are you sure I don't have a long lost twin out there? And she says, I'm sure. I would know. Okay. So that is a big thing that made younger me love it so much. Also, I was obsessed with the booby traps at the end. I died when they put Meredith on that, out on the lake on the air mattress. It's a cool concept. It's funny. This movie stayed my favorite for years. I just realized we're not over the trend yet, and now I'm not sure if I should feel embarrassed or not. So up next was my favorite Disney Channel original movie. Can you guess it based on that clue I just gave? My favorite Disney Channel original movie. Twitches. I swear I don't have a twin fetish. Okay. It's another movie about long lost sisters finding each other, and that was my dream, people. That was my dream. Also, it was a double whammy of awesomeness, because not only did they find out they had a long lost sister, they also found out they had magical powers. That was so cool!
Twin witches! Exactly!
Long lost sisters, witches, powers, magic, Halloween. Why are my lights blinking? The Twitches are here. Okay, so Twitches. Visual aid. 2 witches were born on Halloween Day in another magical realm, and on that same day, their kingdom got attacked by the darkness. lives. They got separated, their protection. They grew up with human parents in the normal world that come back when they're older to defeat that darkness. They had no idea they had a sister.
Why do you look like me? I don't know, but isn't it cool?
They had powers. Weird things happened to them all the time because they had powers, but they never knew, which it just made it cool.
This is not my closet.
Halloween Day, which was also their 21st birthday. So cool. So I bought this movie right before my 21st birthday so I could watch it on mine, and that made me happy. Also one of my favorite Halloween movies. They learn everything.
I knew something was gonna happen today.
I just realized how much they do in one day. All that defeated the darkness. The light.
Go Twitches, go Twitches.
2 more to go. Let's do it. Anime alert! To this day, this is my favorite Studio Ghibli. I don't care what anyone else says. This is the best one. I hear people talk about the favorite Studio Ghibli movies. It is never this one. And that's a shame. Because it's so good! I debated on making Kiki's Delivery Service my pick because I grew up with that one more. This movie I didn't see till later in my childhood. I was 10 or 11 the first time I saw this movie, and that is Castle in the Sky. I will argue till the day I die. This is the best one. Same note, if I ever make top 10 or top 5 favorite Ghibli movies, you already know this is my number 1. Oh, where do I begin explaining it? More orphans. It's a thing in kid movies. I don't know why. Orphan girl Shita. She was passed down a family necklace with a stone on it, and now everybody is chasing her because she has that necklace, and she has no idea that the necklace possesses these powers and it will point to the direction of a floating castle in the sky. So as she's trying to escape all these people chasing her, she meets a new friend who is also an orphan, Tatsu, and he helps her, and it turns out his father was very interested in the floating castle in the sky and actually saw it with his own eyes. He got killed for people thinking he was lying. Since his father died, he has wanted to see it himself, so like they had that connection and they were so sweet together. It's full of action, adventure, comedy, a bit of romance. They're so sweet and cute. I can't. Sci-fi. It's so magical. It is great. I grew up watching my Kiki's Delivery Service tape, and on that tape they advertised this movie, and I thought it looked like the coolest movie ever, and I was alright. But my library didn't have it, so I never got to watch it until we moved to a new town, and finally the library here had it, so I finally got to see it. I would go outside and pretend I'm looking for Castle in the Sky, look for a big cloud and go, oh, I found it! I have to go get it! Fun days. Last movie! I'm sure you're excited. Last movie I was obsessed with in my childhood. Enchanted! This movie also needs more love. Princess from a cartoon fairy tale world who gets sent to our world in New York City.
What, will you?
Nobody's been very nice to me.
Yeah, well, welcome to New York.
Thank you.
She's waiting for her prince to rescue her that, you know, she met and fell in love with. As she's waiting for him, she falls in love with divorce attorney guy. TV's McDreamy. More good songs. It is like everything you love in Disney movies all put into one movie, and it's a live action starring Amy Adams, and it was great. It's so funny. I quote this movie a lot.
You've met your match, foul beast!
Are you crazy? Nobody stabs my bus.
I love quoting the chipmunk when he goes, "It's good." Whenever I offer someone food, I say that. It's good. My last childhood obsession. Good. For some reason, I never saw it until I was 12 years old. My cousin, she had it. The divorce attorney guy, he has a 6-year-old daughter named Morgan, and that was whose movie I was watching was my cousin Morgan, who was 6. I was like, whoa, what a small world. I would watch it like every morning before I went to middle school, 6th grade. Loved it. So those are my top 10. Tell me what you guys loved growing up. I've probably seen it and loved it too. I watched so many. Also let me know if you liked any of the same ones, especially if they were in your top 10. It'd be really cool. Let me know what else you want me to talk about, what movie lists you'd like me to make, anything at all. Be sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share, and I'll see you next time.